good YouTube? It's your boy. My name is Earl, back with another video, and today we're gonna do another Let's Talk. But this one is very valuable to me, and Justin and everybody in the Black community. Today we're gonna be talking about the whole George Floyd incident and just the whole meaning and how we feel on our aspect and opinion on it. So I feel like for that whole situation, like, it was no need for a man, and I say a man, I don't say like just to divide them of race or any type, like he's just a man like any type of other man that puts his shoes and pants on like any other man in this country to die. You feel me? Like, to put their knees on a defenseless black man who's already detained. You feel me? Like, the police, if you're a policeman, your job is to detain the person, not to enforce your own judgment on a person's life. You feel me? Like, it's never that serious. You were never been promoted to a judge. You never been promoted to a person that is enforced to take life. You're supposed to detain them and taking them to the police office or police department and just detain them. It's never your right to choose whoever lives or dies. Unless your life is threatened, which I highly doubt one black man with about 4 police cops around you should make you give you a reason to kill a guy.
Yeah, I definitely feel that too, man. Like we were saying earlier before the video, I think the stat right now is that like 400 and some odd people. Don't quote me on that, but it's somewhere in that area that's how many black people die per year from police brutality in America. So that's on average 1 point something. So I'm gonna say 1 to 2 people die per 1 to 2 black people die per day in a year in America. So I feel like I'm not trying to say George Floyd case isn't as important as the rest of them, but I feel like they're all important because right now just as a race we're dying. Like, they're actually coming out here killing us. Like, from a stat to 1 to 2 people a day per year, you feel me? And the majority, I'm gonna say, were not violent at all. Nobody probably had a gun on them. So it's just a lot. So I feel like we, as a people, or as Americans, we have to come through and fix the system somehow. It has to be reprogrammed, updated, because it's clear and obvious to anybody in America and around the world, as we've seen everybody who's been protesting with us, that a lot of this, is not good at all. It's not healthy. It's not becoming of what we're trying to do, and a lot of their bias on us is something that we don't really even promote. So I feel like it's just a huge misunderstanding between two sides, and I feel like that misunderstanding is going to stay there because they wanted to stay there, but we still have to do something about it. I don't feel like going, to war or, having more people die is going to be the ultimate, solution, because more bloodshed is just going to be more bloodshed. Love brings hate, hate brings revenge. People, like, it's a cycle of what it's going to do. It's been happening for 500 years. And anyway, it has to be a better way, and I feel like we're getting to that point. We're starting, to see like the power that what we actually have as individuals to make. So I feel like we just need to use that as a collective better for us, and because it's not just us versus them. It's but in a way it is. But like we need to bring our side, and we're only as strong as our weakest link. We need to get everybody together and spread knowledge. And I feel like somewhere in that we will gain, that ultimate no bloodshed.
I like to say shout out to my guys, Dale Fuller and Mike Sims, and all my people that know me from VMI. Appreciate y'all love and support of understanding, and like my bro Dale that came. We had like a couple weeks back. We had like a lunch and sit down with me. He's a white person, and from trying to get an understanding, like. Because that's really what we're trying to spread awareness about, like, just to get the understanding, like, I know certain people that are white privileged and never experienced the situation, but for you to sit down and just be willing to know and educate yourself and inform yourself on a certain predicament that we deal with on an everyday basis, of being pulled over and like dealing with a situation where we don't even know whether or even if we are gonna come back the next day alive to our folks. You feel me? Like, cause when I was young, like I would always be curious of why my mom was so overprotective. You feel me? Like always very cautious of what I was doing or who I was with. You feel me? In a certain predicament. Like my mom was so overbearing, protecting, like, and I was always curious. Well, I felt like I was getting suffocated, but it was a reason for it, and I thank my mom for giving me woke on it, like just giving me a better understanding, because she's been through it through the Martin Luther King, Malcolm X era, the segregation between whites and blacks, between drinking out of a water fountain, or being in the bathroom, or being the first black woman to ever be in an integrated of a non-segregated school, and dealing with the racism that was bearing, you feel me? And I appreciate her for paving the way for us to understand and try to better ourselves and become a better person, you feel me? But like, it's still out here. Like, racism still hasn't left. It's still out here, and it's still evolving, you feel me? But like, the best way of us to better ourselves as a people as a whole in the United States is to get a better awareness and have like the police be that medium. You feel me? Like, we need somebody to enforce, to let us know this is right and this is wrong. And for us to even become even better than we were in the past, we have to let that be known and let that be said.
Definitely. I feel like too, it also starts to, them as well, coming together on their side to be able to mature and take better steps for a brighter future. Because I don't feel like, any black person would, necessarily want to go to war for it. We definitely would. But like, we wouldn't want war. We're like, I don't feel like as black individuals, like, we're never really the aggressor. We're always like, pursued, and then once we're tried, we stand our ground, as any man or as anybody would try to. So I feel like, it comes together on their side. I feel like it has to start with them. Like I was saying earlier too before the video, I feel like a lot of, the stuff on their side is, I feel like it's in everything. I feel like there's definitely great cops out there, because I've been pulled over, a lot of times. I've dealt with great cops. So, and I'm blessed with that. And, but I also feel like, there's corruption in every police division, you feel me? I feel like as a person you can do what you want to do individually, but like to step up and to call things out when you see things in the wrong, that's what makes you a good cop. That's what we look at for protection and service. You feel me? Like, not for harassment. Like, we're here to get an understanding, not to be shot down or with a knee in our neck, getting choked. To us, none of that is a big deal. We want to talk it out. Like, we want to know, like, what's the problem. If you tell us what it is, okay, yada yada, we can work this out. I'm not gonna try to push you, and it's 5 of y'all, and all y'all got guns on, and I don't have a gun on. Like, even if I had a gun on me, like, what would I look like going into a shootout in the middle of Main Street over a speeding ticket?
For real, like. And I would put on top of that, like, the reason I could say that would help better the community is have, like, at least somebody that is from that community, like a cop that is from that community. Don't bring nobody that's never been to any type of hood or project and think they'll have a better understanding of the community and think they're gonna make it better or improve that community. It doesn't work like that. If you have somebody like, all right, say so-and-so, Sergeant Johnson, he's from that community. If you add him, I promise you, if you added that guy that knows the block, that knows the area, and is used to that environment, I promise you, you would definitely see improvement in that community. Like, there's no way of bringing somebody from not trying to be racist or anything, but in a suburban area, and expect them to understand the whole culture of that certain area. It just doesn't work like that. You feel me?
It doesn't. So yeah, I feel like it's gonna change though. I feel like we're doing things. We're still moving as individuals to see a brighter future. We see the light at the end of the tunnel. We just don't know how far we're gonna walk. I feel like as long as we stay persistent and keep aiming for that end game. And as far as like us becoming better individuals as a race and as a country, and as far as, you know, racism being evaporated from what America really is, you know, I feel like all that takes time, but I feel like, you know, we're pushing in that direction. I feel like now there's actually more people speaking up about it than it was before. I'm not going to say it's going to be more of a social media thing, but
it definitely helps.
I feel like, yeah, that helped, but it's a lot of ignorance with it. I feel like a lot of people ignored it. I feel like a lot of people didn't even want to look at it. And like now they're being forced to look at it on a daily basis because, like I said before, people die every day from police brutality. Like it's so that people now are scared. I seen this video. This one lady was scared because she did not want to be on the internet for being a Karen, but she was harassing a black man. Like you know what a Karen is, but you still did what you was doing, and now you're crying because you don't want to be that, but you were just doing that and you knew what it was. You knew before that you knew what that, you knew what that was, so why would you do that, you know? So I feel like until, like now it's becoming more and more, you know, like it's looked at different. I feel like back then the racism to them might have been cool. They might have hung a dude on a noose in the tree and took a picture. I mean, they did that. You feel me? They did that for the sport, for the fun of it. So I feel like, you know, a lot of that is just, you know, a messed up bias that they have mentally. So I feel like now a lot of that is starting to be flipped in a way. It's not fully flipped, but I feel like it's going in that direction. So I feel like as long as we stay persistent, we can get to that.
I also believe, like I told just before we was talking on the camera, like I think that the way racism is taught like a tradition. You feel me? Like it sucks because like I don't feel like all the new coming and upcoming generations are trying to be this way. They're just being taught this way. Like racism is not a thing that you inherit. It's just they just teach it. You feel what I'm saying? Like I've seen a lot of white people that are very friendly and that are not racist, but you can tell when certain people are. It's just they just getting taught that way. I hate that it has to be that way, but until we address this matter, you feel me? Like and just make it to a point where we like, all right, man, like y'all have to end this. Like what are we getting out of this? How are we supposed to better the country if we still trying to tear each other apart? You feel what I'm saying? Like and it shouldn't be that way.
Nothing at all.
At all. Which is crazy, but like I like to thank a lot of the countries as well, like you said before, like that are showing awareness and showing that like enough is enough, that we are trying to make a difference in this country, like besides by separating us from our skin, you feel me, like and trying to pinpoint us and like destroy this community that we have been, and people keep forgetting, like we helped build this country. We were literally taken from our homeland into this country. Like we were never meant to be here, like for real, like you feel me? Like people keep forgetting, like we were taken from our country into slavery to be here, to help build this with the sweat on our backs, the blood on our backs, the whips on our backs, everything. You feel me? Like we came from Africa here. We was never born here. So y'all can't say that y'all don't want us here because y'all took it. Like what? Like you feel me? Like dang, but like it's just to a point where I feel like we need to come as a whole and have a better understanding. Like people educate yourselves. The ones that want to understand why it's so serious, like police brutality, oppression, all this, that, and the third. Like, cause like we've been having this conversation for God knows how long.
Yeah, 400 years.
And for us to take this long to get y'all attention, a little bit of y'all attention, and some of y'all are ignoring the fact that y'all are being ignorant of the knowledge that is showing and giving y'all the reason. And it's not like we don't have that. The evidence is there.
Yeah.
It's there. It's there. Like I don't know if I have to put it all in your face to show it that it's there. Like it's just you ignoring the fact that you don't want to know that it's there.
And deal with it.
And deal with it. You feel me? Like it just, to a certain point in the sense, just like, well, what do I have to do? Like, do I have to kill Do I have to loot? And I'm not condoning it. Justin not condoning. We're not condoning looting. But I mean, if we have to get violent enough to burn buildings down our own place, which we don't want to burn our own place, we live there. We live there. You feel what I'm saying? Like, why would we burn down a place or graffiti certain places? And some of that stuff, y'all thinking it's us, it's not us that's really looting. I've seen a lot of white people, a lot of other people that trying to use a reason for Black Lives Matter. That's not the reason y'all should use that for. And I want to address that too. Like, people keep thinking it's a lot of black folks that's looting. It's not all of us. We out there marching for a cause, but we're not out there looting. It's not all of us that are looting. So don't get it twisted. You feel me? Like, it's just to a certain point where people get certain things confused on a certain movements and just try to take advantage of it. You feel me? In the wrong reason, in the wrong sense. So, like I said, I don't be out there looting. I be out there, doing my protest, doing my due diligence. But I don't condone the negative vibes of looting and stealing from people, like especially black-owned businesses or anything like that, or any stores, if that matters. But it's just that people misconstrue certain things. So what you say, Justin?
Yeah, I feel like it's deeper than that. Like, it's always gonna be deeper than that, I feel like, I just feel like it's deeper than that. And like you said, like, we were brought here. It's like we wanted to be here. Yeah, I just feel like I feel like it's deeper than the loot and shit. I feel like it's deeper than the protesting. I feel like it's something. I feel like a lot of the protesting is a lot of show and tell.
Okay.
Like, instead of somebody just going to the solution, or I'm saying a lot of people do that. I'm not saying a lot of people don't do that, by the way.
Oh, no.
By the way, I want to disclaim that.
Yeah, disclaim.
I know, I don't want people to be like, oh, nobody does that. No, I'm not saying that at all. But I feel like, a lot of protesters in general, like, protesters have leaders, and within the leaders you have followers. And there's people who are just going to move because people are leaders, and that's what leaders do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You feel me? But that's what is supposed to happen, you feel me? And then, like, of the followers, you make leaders, and that's how it recycles. But I feel like there's a lot of those people that are just on those lines, just doing that to take a picture, or doing that to be on Instagram.
And I've seen that.
You feel me?
I've seen
like
that
things like that. Like, I feel like, what are you really doing actively other than protesting? I feel like a lot of protesting is just like a lot of yelling. Like, are you sending letters off? Have you tried to talk to anybody in, the office of representatives? And if you haven't, that's great. You feel me? That's what we want. That's what we need. That's where the change happens. Like, until more people start doing that, you feel me? We're not going to clean out that system, that side of that either. There's a lot of that on the government side that's in there too, and they're letting this happen. So, you feel me? I feel like the government could kill this in an instant if they wanted to. Like, but they're not. They haven't. If anything, they've worked with them more because they're the feds. You feel me? They flock as one. They really don't give a fuck about the people. Obviously, they shoot people in the face with rubber bullets.
Like, literally, it's not supposed to be.
Busting people eyes. Like, what?
They wig split right open. Like, it's just crazy, y'all.
So, but I feel like a lot of those people that are on the lines as well, I feel like a lot of people have stepped up because they have seen, what's really going on. And there's a lot of them that, they're like, damn, what have I been doing? And I haven't been doing nothing. Let's start here. And that's how you use protesting. You start with protesting, but you keep pushing. You feel me? Protesting can't just be all you do.
Yeah, it has to be way more. You have to make that evolve, to make it to a movement, to going to the what's it called? The meetings. You gotta go to the meetings.
Get something going on.
And talk
Man, start a neighborhood watch. You don't know who in your neighborhood. A lot of black people don't even know your neighbors. Like, start things like that. Once you get a society on your side,
and the community,
a group in the community on your side, that's how you uproot things. Go talk to your farm, your local farmer market. You don't know who you might meet in there. Might have a great conversation with they spread the best wisdom. So it's things like that they can give you and share, and it's like a lot of giving back to that. And once you start doing that, once we start doing that actively, like I feel like all of that it'll become better. It has become better. It's become way better. Like my dad's first year of school was the first year schools were integrated. I found out in APO's history that the only reason that we have private day schools for high schools is because white people wanted to be segregated from black folks, so they made it to where you had to pay to go to school there. That's why black kids went there. They had public and private schools. All the white kids that were going at the public schools now go to the private schools. The private schools are out in the suburban areas, out in the country areas, or like right in the city, like one or the other. It's never like in the middle. So it's crazy, a lot of that is already systematic, so you have to, have that knowledge of hand to what we're going to do about this. I'm not saying that, black kids shouldn't go to day schools, but there was one episode of, what's that show with Charlamagne?
You talking about Breakfast Club?
Yeah, the Breakfast Club. It was one episode where one dude from Winston, he was like the bus owner at the time. And he was on it, he was talking, he said, the problem happened when, black people wanted what white people had instead of just making something out of what we already were doing. You feel me? I feel like that as well has become a thing because like we've become in a wanting mindset instead of just going out there and just making what we got. Now I feel like in today's era, like we're starting to make more black-owned businesses.
Yeah, and
that's starting to redevelop, but it wasn't,
as strong.
Yeah, like in the '60s, they said, it was a strong, like Winston-Salem, that's where I'm from. It had a strong black civil rights movement base. Like it was like the black bus station, like that's like right behind the church that I go to. So like I see a lot of that history. That stuff is just there in front of me. Like those buses were the buses from the civil rights movement, the buses when we boycotted the white bus stations and went to the black bus stations. Those were the buses that they rode through those times. So it's a lot of that is crazy. So, but I feel like a lot of that black-owned business stuff is starting to redevelop, and that's great that it's happening because now we're starting to understand how to grow and develop wealth instead of working for somebody for all your life. I feel like we now are smart enough to know that once you do this and keep doing this, that's how you spread the wealth, you spread the knowledge to your friends and family, and that's how you get your people going, to the kids, to the communities. And that's how you uplift all that. Once you do that, like, as well as, doing things on, standing for the racial bias that we have in our country, those things will intertwine and make something better, like, for us as a people here. You feel me? Because I feel like, like I said, a lot of they just have a racial bias on us that's just there. Like, it's just there. Like, it's self-taught, like, from out the womb. Yeah,
and I would say for us to like really make a change, like I understand everybody saying F Trump this, F Trump that, but for us to really make a change, y'all have to vote. Y'all have to vote. Like I understand protesting this, that, and the third. We have to vote. We have to do from the DA to the mayor to the chief of the police to everything. The sheriff. I don't even care if he's the assistant of the assistant. Y'all have to vote. We all have to vote. We can't just we protesting, that's it.
Heck yeah.
What's next? You have to be on the next step. Y'all have to be movement ahead of time. Like y'all have to be on this. Like I understand Trump, of course Trump is a horrible president, like he bad and this, that, and the third. I understand that, yada, and whoopie.
That is a distraction.
That's a distraction. That's definitely a distraction.
Because all of what we've been going through is here before. Look, did you know that Guilford County just got their first black sheriff, like 3 years ago, 2 years ago? I met him in person at my job. I'm like, whoa, like, there's 75 sheriffs in Guilford County, where I go to school in North Carolina, A&T. There's 75 sheriffs. He was the 75th, and he was the first ever sheriff. Like, that's wow. Like, I lived in Missouri, so I'm thinking, like, wow, like, he the first in his he said he got elected in 2019 when Trump came into office. Yeah. That's crazy, like that, and that, bro, that's crazy. So, like, a lot of that, like I said, it starts from us changing that stuff within, from black leaders on their side, you know, standing up and making a difference on their end, because they can definitely do that. You know, I feel like a lot of that, and I feel like a lot of cops have, you know, backed off. A lot of cops have quit, honestly. So, you know, that's great as well. But I feel like all this is going to take time. Like I said before, as long as we stay persistent, I feel like we're going to end this and get out of this struggle that I feel like black people are in. I feel like there's something going on that's deeper than like, I feel like because of the racial thing, we have something deeper going on within us. So I feel like once we figure out the racial thing, then we'll figure out that, if that makes sense. Like, and then like as we grow and develop, we'll carry on wherever we're supposed to do.
Yeah, so like I said before, just don't let that Trump and this, that, and the third distract y'all. Like, we have to work in the small areas, you feel me, in the community. If we get that community straight, whatever the mayor, this, that, and the third, and we start working on those things and having the right people with the right position and the right jobs, I promise you will see a big difference in the community, and the system will be better in itself. But like we said before, like, I feel like what Justin said before, I feel like we should just overall just rewrite the Constitution in a sense of having a better understanding of what we are saying, instead of just, instead of being broad, be specific, have detail, you feel me? Like, because it really isn't for us. The system isn't meant for us. It's not meant for us to win. Like, it's all towards against us. It's all going towards against us, you feel me? So, like, we have to do something to make a change, and not let this all these people, all these names, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, every single, Trayvon Martin, all the other people of our race be left in vain. Like, we have to do something to make a change in this whole situation, and let not this one little, not saying little, but this big incidents, all these incidents, just be left just to wither. You feel me? So, in all, I just feel like we definitely are trying to make a change. We just need to find the right direction towards where we need to make that change. Anything you got else to say?
No, man. I feel like that's it. I feel like everything else, you know, everybody already knows. So.
But yeah, like I said, just pray for the country, pray for everybody. You feel me? Like, if y'all still out there protesting,
Pray because you're supposed to.
You supposed to pray.
When you down there, you up. That's what gets you through it, man. So.
But yeah, like, I just hope everybody is good, and y'all still out there protesting, please be straight. Like, be careful out there, pepper spraying and the rubber bullets and this, that, and the third. I just hope everybody is straight. And those who are looting, please, y'all, it's not even that serious. But but my name is Earl. It's my bro, Justin. It's an Let's Talk. Like, comment, subscribe. Also, let me know, everybody have a discussion down here below, and let me know how y'all feel about the whole situation. Like, we got to keep this going. Like, we can't let this just die in vain. Let's just make a difference in the world. Peace.